Live and local, it's time for Fan Sports Sunday. If the weekend is a big desert for sports talk, think of this show as an oasis.
Yes, here we go.
Come drink from our pool of hot takes as you quench your thirst with. I thought I was going somewhere, but I'm not. So let's just start the show.
Happy Sunday. We've got a quick show today, but a packed show today. It's a great sports Sunday. We've got the Indy 500. We've got NBA and NHL playoffs coming up a little bit later on this afternoon and into the evening. We'll look ahead at the Memorial Tournament this week in Columbus at Muirfield Village. Some changes to the college football playoff, and of course, all of this going right into coverage for the Cubs and the Reds. So we'll talk a little bit of Major League Baseball to finish things up. I'm Dylan Tyre. With me is Tim May. Running everything in the back is Dylan Gonzalez. And off the top, today is a great day in racing. We had the Monaco Grand Prix won by Lando Norris. That goes right into the Indy 500, which, Tim, I know you're excited for.
Yeah, it dovetails into the Indy 500. I hope the Indy 500 is more exciting. I mean, with the mandatory two-stop rule at Monaco, the race was really won on Saturday. And when Lando Norris got the pole, because that kind of put the pecking order, because you can't pass. As I was telling Eric yesterday on our show, if you went to the Formula One folks and said, hey, we want to have a race and we want to have it in this town and we want the track to look like this now, they'd go get out of here. But, of course, it's the grandfather of Formula One races, and so they have it every year, and it is an honor to win it, but never equate it to the Indy 500 when it comes to competition and everything else. And yeah, and I was just looking at my radar, Dylan, and it looks like it's raining or just got through raining over at Indy, so that's going to delay things a little bit. You would think the start's supposed to be 12:45, and on the pole is a rookie, Robert Schwartzman, because of everything pretty much that happened to the Penske team at the end of the week last week. And so it'll be interesting to see that start with Takuma Sato, by the way, starting number 2, whose basically motto is no attack, no chance. He'll be starting number 2. And then Pato O'Ward, kind of a crowd favorite there, who just missed winning last year when Joseph Newgarden passed him on the final lap and won for the second straight year. That's going to be an interesting start. And then coming from the back of the field is Joseph Newgarden and Will Power. As we all know, 2 of the fastest cars on the lot there because of the penalties, because of the that were imposed because of the attenuator scandal.
All right, tell me a little bit about this Robert Schwartzman character. He's the first rookie to be on the pole in the Indy 500 in over 40 years.
Teo Fabi, 1983.
Does this guy have a shot?
He has a shot. Here's the thing about it. If you watched him run in traffic in the final practice, even though I'm not covering it for the first time in 4 decades, which is still crazy to me.
I know you're upset about it.
I do have a little. I'm having a little bit of withdrawal, more than I thought I would, because I'm trying to semi-retire, and but the bottom line is he's a rookie. He showed it in his team Prima, which is also a rookie team in IndyCar, not a rookie team to racing, because they're headquartered over in Italy and have raced at all kinds of different levels. But just showed neither he nor his car were happy in traffic. And sometimes you wonder, is it the driver who isn't feeling it the way he should because it's his first time, or is it the car? So I would see if he can't take the lead early, he could go backwards really fast, because you've got, like I said, you've got some veterans breathing right down his throat there as this race will start. But he's an interesting dude because he's driven at several different levels, including being for want of another term, a practice driver in Formula One for a while. But that deck is so stacked over there, you have to get a huge break to really get into the mainstream of Formula One. So he's trying IndyCar. He is fearless. He will drive the car. He's a Russian Israeli, raised in Russia. I think he was born in Tel Aviv. Has an interesting background, but he's like 24, 25 years old. He's not what you'd call a 19-year-old wet behind the ears dude. So I think he will be smart about things. He seems to be a really good thinker when it comes to driving his car. At least he showed that in qualifying.
Robert Schwartzman, 8-1 to win the Indianapolis 500. You have Pato O'Ward at 5-1, Alex Palou at 11-2, and Scott Dixon at 13-2. I want to ask you about somebody who's going off at 30-1. That's my guy, Elio Castroneves, trying to win a record 5th Indy 500. Does he have any shot here?
I've known Elio since he was 19 when he came and drove for the Tasman team that was headquartered in Hilliard. He and Tony Kanaan. Yeah, he has a shot. What he didn't end up with a car feeling the way he wanted. One of the reasons is this is a one-off race for him now, driving for the local Pataskala-based Meyer-Shank Racing, which has, Felix Rosenquist way on up into the field, and then Marcus Armstrong also in the field. He's got to almost attach himself, I would think, and I'm sure he will, to Joseph Newgarden coming from the back. Mm-hmm. I think I'm not sure exactly where Elio is starting. I think it's on row 9 or 10, so he will have to zoom his way to the front. But see, the thing about a 500-mile race is if you're just smart and take your time, you can get to the front as long as you don't get too eager or anxious is really the way. It's kind of the mix of anxiety and eagerness. But he and Joseph Newgarden, and for that case, Will Power, can progressively move their way up the field. They just can't get too impatient. So it's interesting. I'm seeing if this race will go off at the right time, because obviously Kyle Larson is trying to do the double for the second straight year, and any delay in the start adds to his anxiety. He's one of the few guys that's come over who I think really has the capability of winning both of these races on the same day, which would be an interesting conundrum for him to deal with if he won, because there's so much pomp and circumstance after you win the Indy 500, but he also wants to go and win at Charlotte tonight.
That's unbelievable, the way that you can logistically try to get that done, right?
Thank you for the jet age, God. You couldn't do it without helicopters and jets.
Yeah, you're right about that. Elio Castroneves starting off in the 8th row, it looks like. Kyle Kirkwood, Nolan Siegel alongside him. I had the opportunity to meet those Meyer-Shank Racing guys earlier this year, and that's where my rooting interest lies, I think, in the Indy 500.
How was Elio's slap shot?
Oh, it was pretty darn good. Like those guys really took to hockey right away. I think Marcus Armstrong, he's a Kiwi, so going in the rink over there at Nationwide Arena, he had a big parka on, and it was a little bit cold for him. But Elio was there all day long, and I think he really ended up falling in love with hockey.
Well, he won Dancing with the Stars. You know all about him and stuff. And number 2, he's the only guy in the field today that could set real history, which is becoming. Well, Joseph Newgarden could too. He could become the first guy to win the race 3 straight times, and Elio could be the first guy to win 5 Indy 500s. He's tied with Al Unser Sr., A.J. Foyt, and Rick Mears in that regard. But Elio, he's going to have the bit between his teeth, man. He's going to want to do it, but he's a. I know he comes off how he comes off, to people. But he's a pretty good thinker when it comes to driving, especially in the Indy 500. He and I talked one time. I did a story about this. What would you rather be good at? What would you rather have basically in your resume at the end of it all, that you won 3 IndyCar championship season, or 4 Indianapolis 500s? No doubt about it, 4 Indianapolis 500s. And he was built to drive in this race. Just his demeanor, the way he can think through races and see things way ahead and stuff. And I've always been impressed by him.
Yeah, he's very calm, cool, collected, calculated. He's a thinker, you can tell. So that's like I said.
But he likes to entertain.
Oh, of course. No, he is an entertainer through and through.
Do not dismiss. He's never met somebody he didn't like.
All right, so if you had to pick somebody to win this Indy 500 today, assuming everything goes as planned, the weather doesn't affect things too much, who does Tim May have winning?
But, the shark lurking in the first 4 rows is Scott McLaughlin, who probably would have won the pole, but he crashed on pole qualifying day. As you well know about the Penske scandal of the blending the attenuator to the back of the gearbox is a no-no, even though it gives you no aerodynamic advantage whatsoever, or very little. Let's put it that way. His car didn't have that. Maybe that's why he crashed. That was a bad dark joke there. But he has as fast a car as there is in the race, and he's starting in a good spot. He felt like he really screwed up last year. He had a chance to win it last year, and I would be surprised if he's not in the mix with Pato and possibly Takuma. I think Schwartzman, something's going to happen with Schwartzman. Either he's going to lose the lead and fall back, or his team is going to have a bobble in the pits, because that kills you as much as anything else in the Indy 500 in modern day. But I would keep my eye on Scott McLaughlin. I think he's got a hell of a car. Turn one, first lap, sometimes that takes so many people's dreams away. I mean, if you've never been there, ladies and gentlemen, to see the start of that race, actually see the buildup of it, the pomp and circumstance, taps, back home again in Indiana, the national anthem, America the Beautiful, the way it goes down, it gives you chills every time you've been there. And but then past that, turn one, first lap, 33 cars accelerating from 80 miles an hour coming off turn 4 to probably well over right at 200 the first time through. But everybody knowing the first couple of laps is where you can really make some gravy. It's worth it.
So you like Scott McLaughlin. He's going off in row number 4, 10th starting position.
Yep.
His odds to win 9-1. It's the Indy 500 coming up at 12:45. Save weather delays. So we talked racing there. Why don't we talk about some other races going on right now? NHL playoff and NBA playoff talk coming up next. It's Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
I've had a number of surgeries, and frankly, I don't have time to rehab a surgery and an operation at this point in my life. I didn't want to take time off my kids' activities.
That's why former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter turned to QC Kinetics. We couldn't be happier saving our patients like him from operating rooms and long recoveries.
They will resume like normal activity for me, which is a lot of running. It's a lot of workouts. I've been very, very blessed with how it's been able to hold up.
For so long, patients have accepted surgery as the only solution. But with new technologies, the medical professionals at QC Kinetics use regenerative treatments, your body's own biologics, to help heal and restore knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
I actually ran into a friend of mine over at our golf course, and he had his knee done. It felt so well. He'd got his shoulder done. He goes, I can't thank you enough. He'd heard the commercial on the air, and so it's feeling great.
Find out how you can avoid surgery and finally get relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Spring weather has arrived, and we all know what that brings. Warmer weather and severe storms. Well, when bad weather hits, we all know it can cause leaky roofs or even damage to your siding and gutters. The Roofing Guys are your local experts in roofing, siding, and gutters and more, providing top quality through every roof, every time. So it's just a small repair, full replacement, or even peace of mind. You need to contact my guys, the Roofing Guys, 614-626-7000, or visit them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
When it's time to ask life's biggest question, make sure your ring says it all. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from The Diamond Seller, and we've been helping couples say yes for over 78 years. From brilliant cuts to better prices, the quality and selection of our diamonds is unmatched. Because diamonds aren't just our business, they're our legacy. Visit us at Diamond Seller on Salmo Road or Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondseller.com. Bigger diamonds, better prices, guaranteed.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. Summer is officially here, and so are the rising temperatures. Before you know it, you'll be wondering what else you can do to keep cool during the dog days of summer. You want to beat the heat and keep the AC in your home? Get Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. During their semi-annual sale, you can buy 4 windows and get 4 windows free. Plus a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, and no money down, no interest, and no monthly payments until 2027. So how exactly do they keep their prices affordable? It's a great question. Window Nation works directly with the top window manufacturers in the country, which means all their windows are assembled right here in the USA. Plus, their windows come with a lifetime warranty, so you'll keep saving long into the future. Window Nation's semi-annual sale ends soon. So buy 4 windows, get 4 windows free, and a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, plus pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now, 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com. Once again, that number, 866-90-NATION, or go to their website, windownation.com.
It's almost time for the inaugural 9.71 The Race.
Sponsored by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center.
Run, walk, have a beer with Common Man. Whatever strikes your fancy. Sign up today at 971therace.com.
The standing room only, with all eyes on the 18th green.
That's a good looking ball.
The sudden roars. It's Sunday's celebration.
Jack always made the putt at 18, and today Scotty Scheffler did.
Witness the Memorial Tournament presented by Workday, May 26th through June 1st. It's second to none. Visit memorialtickets.com today.
Wow, what a shot.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game.
Yes,
that's you taking another sip of your Do the Dew.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Aaron White with your forecast here for your Sunday. We're tracking more cloud cover across the area and the chance for a couple of rain showers, but otherwise most of us will stay dry. High temperatures into the mid-60s for today. And then tonight, partly cloudy skies, lows into the upper 40s to near 50. By Monday for your Memorial Day, we're tracking a mix of clouds and sunshine and highs back into the lower 70s before we talk about rain and cooler temperatures back in the forecast here for your Tuesday. And that's a look at your 10 Weather Impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. Garnish your Bloody Mary with sports talk. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Dylan Tyre, Tim May, Dylan Gonzalez with you on a Sunday afternoon going into Memorial Day. It's a great Memorial Day weekend. The weather, not so great. You know what's also not so great? The playoffs right now. NHL, NBA, at least the games last night, I thought stunk.
Yeah, but I mean, in one way or the other, they kind of identified the series. And everybody thought Oklahoma City was going to run right by the Timberwolves, and boom, I mean, that was crazy.
I still think the Thunder have this one in the bag. I think we're going to see a gentleman's sweep in this series, 5 games. I think the Thunder come back and win the next game, which will be tomorrow, 8:30. Yeah. But that game last night, Timberwolves win 143-101. I mean, it was never really close. No. Like Anthony Edwards gets off to a red-hot start in the first quarter there, and the T-Wolves never really slowed down. I think if you kind of look at the stat breakdown afterward, they made more baskets. They shot the ball more efficiently. They shot 50% from 3. They were better there. They out-rebounded Oklahoma City. So if you're going to lead in all those categories, I think you're going to be
Oklahoma City star, you pronounce his name for me, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Gilgeous. Okay. Yeah, the G is hard.
Just call him SGA. Or Shai.
He scored 14 points, right?
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the thing. Everybody calls him a free throw merchant, right? And he didn't get to the line very much in that game. OKC didn't get to the line a whole lot in that game. I'm with you. Like, I think... Listen, like his mid-range game is really nice. Like when he gets to the mid-range, he's great. He has a tremendous ability to make shots while off balance, falling over to sell these fouls. But I'm kind of with you. Listen, he's the MVP of the NBA this season. I liked Jokic for the MVP. I think the teams faced off in the playoffs, right? And I think Jokic meant more to his team all season. Like outside of Jokic, I think the Nuggets don't have very much. But we're talking OKC here. I'm with you. I think SGA is a bit of a free throw merchant. When he's not going to the line, they're not winning games.
I think SGA, if last night was a harbinger, they're not very much without him scoring either.
No, you're right. You're right. It doesn't. I guess it doesn't matter how you score those points, but
you got to go through the hoop, no matter what genius you are.
Yeah, he likes to go to the free throw line, and he didn't get it done last night. So OKC leads that series 2-1. They won Game 1, 114-88. Game 2, 118-103, and then of course lost by over 40 points in Game 3. So none of the 3 games have been in particular close.
Yeah.
But
see, when I was growing up, I'm 71 years old. You're what? What are you, 21?
I'm 28. I wish.
No, but I mean, that's what I grew up in that era back in the 60s and 70s when people, if you didn't score 100, you weren't trying. You know what I mean? NBA teams.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see this offense come back into the game the last several years. I just think it's you're really seeing avalanche scoring now, pardon the pun.
Yeah, we are talking NHL in a bit here.
Yeah.
But no, it is like OKC is a great team defensively. That's kind of where they make their bread and butter there is what they do on defense. But
last night
the Timberwolves put up 143 on them, and it maybe we've got a series here. Like, Dylan, what do you think? Because Anthony Edwards hasn't necessarily shot the ball great in this series, in the playoffs in particular. That changed last night. Do he and the Timberwolves have a shot here, or is that just a lapse by OKC?
Well, you know what they say, a series doesn't start until a home team loses, right?
You are right.
This is still a series, but I'm with you. I think OKC defensively they're so good. They would have 2 more all-defensive team players if Chet and Alex Caruso were eligible, but they didn't have the games played. Like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he got all defensive team votes. There were times that he would sit out at the end of the games. They would sub him out for defense. That's just crazy to think about.
Yeah.
That they have 6 players that have, all defensive capability. So I just think that they're too much. I think they're winning the finals. I don't know about gentleman's sweep. I would say Thunder in 6.
All right, you said they're going to win the finals. What about the other series here? Like, I think either one of the Knicks or Pacers could give OKC a series here. We've got Game 3 between the Pacers and the Knicks tonight at 8. Pacers lead that series 2-0, but do we see anything changing here? Like, I think we get another gentleman's
We talked about it yesterday. We talked about it yesterday. I think teams come along and all of a sudden they get it. They gel, so to speak. I think the Pacers are going to be tough. And I think the Pacers are going to win this series. I think New York has kind of found I think every team kind of finds their limit in the playoffs, why they're not moving on. And the Pacers, man, just have a killer instinct to them at the end of the game, which is when you need it, right?
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting because the first 2 games have been games the Knicks could have, and they know it, could have won at home. Now what do you do, right? You got to break serve at Indiana. So I just think the Pacers are that team that that just have it together this year. And it's interesting to watch these teams emerge because, they both beat the 2 teams that you thought were going to be playing for the championship in the previous round. So, I like the Pacers. What do you?
Like Dylan said, a series wins when the away team wins, right? And the Pacers have done that twice. These games have been much closer than the games in the other series where the Pacers have had to come from behind to win. You think about what Jalen Brunson's doing. He's scoring 40 points a game right now for the Knicks. There's maybe a little bit more scoring depth on the Pacers. Different guys have stepped up at different times to support Tyrese Halliburton.
Correct.
But, man, I think it's going to be tough for the Knicks to beat the Pacers at home. Just the fact that they went on the road and were able to win at MSG, that's a tough place to play. It's a hostile environment, and for the Pacers to have their crowd on their side, and they just have a vibe right now. Like they're just, it's like a snowball just rolling downhill, the momentum of the Pacers right now. And I feel like even though they were in essentially the exact same spot last year, they were, for whatever reason, underrated going into the playoffs this year, and they've just kind of proven themselves at every step in the playoffs. And I think it's obviously the Pacers series to lose right now. I think they're going to be the team that faces off against OKC in the final.
And what TV exec wouldn't want to see a Thunder Pacers final?
Yeah, it's a huge sports day in Indy, right? You've got the Indy 500 going on.
I'm talking about in the next series, the championship. I'm tired of hearing about that. If you're the better team, you deserve to be there no matter who's watching.
Yeah, 2 very small markets. But to echo some of your points, the difference between the Knicks and the Timberwolves is that the Knicks lost their 2 games at home.
Yeah.
So that's
Correct.
a really hard hole to climb out of. I don't know. I consider myself the driver of the Pacers bandwagon. A lot of people slept on them in the first round. They're like, oh, they're playing Giannis and Damian Lillard. Those guys will figure it out come playoff time. And then I like them against the Cavs, too, just the style. It just wasn't a good matchup for the Cavs. And then coming into this series, I feel like everyone had the Knicks written into the finals just because, to Tim's point, it's like the NBA wants that New York market. No way they're not getting in. But I think the Pacers are really good. They say that big threes aren't in the NBA anymore, but give me Halliburton, Siakam, and Miles Turner. Like, that's an underrated big three. Those are three solid players. Like, Halliburton, he's really efficient, hardly turns the ball over, gets a ton of assists. And then Siakam, he's defending the wing. And then the other night, they needed 30 from him. Yep. They got 30 from him. And then Miles Turner's just your typical 2025 NBA big man. Like, those three guys are very underrated in my opinion.
Siakam's what, the big boom from Cameroon.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
right.
He can play, man. And that's what I'm talking about. I mean, they had guys step up against the first two games, step up at crunch time. And the Knicks had a couple of guys step backward, and especially that little dribbling exhibition at the end of regulation. But anyway, the bottom line is that's what I like about the Pacers is at crunch time, they got the job done. That says a lot about a team, man.
Well, if Dylan's calling what the Pacers have a big three, what do we call what the Florida Panthers have going on right now?
Oh my goodness,
a big 12, like they're
a big repeat.
Yeah, they're killing. Absolutely killing the Carolina Hurricanes. It was finally a good game going into the third period last night, a 1-1 tie. The Panthers led the series 2-0.
I'm going to interrupt you right here. Then what happened? From your vantage point, you're a hockey dude.
I mean, the Panthers do what the Panthers they did what they do. Like, they just took over the game, and it became too much for the Carolina Hurricanes.
What does that mean, they took over the game? What does that mean from your vantage point?
I mean, it's just their roster, to be completely honest with you. They are mean. They bully you, and they have tons of skill. Carolina tries to play this game where they pressure you the entire game, put a ton of shots on goal, which hasn't worked in this series.
Yeah.
They're just being outclassed. I mean, Carolina has a good roster. They're a good team during the regular season. It's been the case every year. But this is what they do in the Eastern Conference Final. They're 0-15 in their last 15 games in the Eastern Conference Final, which is almost unbelievable. But 5 goals in the third period from the Panthers yesterday to win 6-2. They're just better.
I feel like I'm in a classroom here. I'm holding up my hand to ask a question.
Go for it.
So the Carolina coach, what's his name?
Rod Brindamore.
So was he sitting there going into the third period going, this switch at goalie was the deal? This made and then what is he thinking 25 minutes later?
Well, I think it's a complete team thing, right? Because the Carolina did play a much better game for the bulk of that one, but then in the third period, it just all fell apart. Their defense in front of the goaltending wasn't very good. Pyotr Kochetkov, the goalie himself, was not very good. I think it's just that pressure, right? It's just the pressure of being in those situations. Carolina hasn't necessarily been there before. Kochetkov hasn't been there before. Carolina has been there before, but with different groups. Their roster, there's turnover every year, whereas Florida's the defending Cup champions. They're trying to go to the Stanley Cup final for the third straight year. They've been there before. They know how to win. I think this thing is locked up.
Well, it's like Marchand's last goal. I mean, it hits the crossbar, and it just comes down just inside the post, and you're going, okay, this was their night.
Yep, you're right about that. The other series is much better, just like in the NBA. You've got the Oilers and the Stars. Game 3 coming up at 3 o'clock this afternoon. That series is tied 1-1. The Stars came from behind to win Game 1. The Oilers shut them out 3-0 in Game 2. I like the Oilers going forward. Connor McDavid, I think it's going to be a rematch of the Stanley Cup final from last year.
I agree. I think it's cool. And that doesn't bother me at all. I don't know about you.
No, I love it. I think the Oilers have a shot. Like people have said, I was listening to the call-in show coming in. Ryan Baker, I think, said that going away, it's going to be the Florida Panthers winning it all. I think you can never count out Connor McDavid. The Oilers got a shot.
Yeah. And the thing about hockey that just drives me crazy watching it, if I was a coach or whatever of a team, I would be going, so many goals are just haphazard. Where did that come from? Kind of moments when you're playing really good and it still slips through there and stuff. That's why, everybody still has a shot. But I do like the way Florida, like you said, I mean, the crush they put on in the third period last night was choice.
Yep.
That was choice hockey.
We are less than a week away from the biggest weekend in Ohio golf. Can Scotty Scheffler repeat as the Memorial Tournament champion? We'll discuss next. We are back in 2 minutes. It's Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. like asterisk-free checking, an account that's filled with features, but no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. Because it's your money, right? So we think you should keep it. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney.
When an orthopedic injury or condition gets in the way of life, there is nothing more important than finding a physician you can trust. At Orthopedic One, you'll find Central Ohio's most trusted team of orthopedic experts, ready to listen to your concerns and work with you toward the best possible outcome. In fact, more people trust Orthopedic One than any other practice in Central Ohio. Start with the specialists. Start with orthopedic1.com.
We've discovered the perfect morning ritual, the 2 for $6 breakfast sandwich deal at Tim Hortons. Every sandwich is made to order with a freshly cracked egg and melty cheese, just the way breakfast should be. Choose between savory sausage or hickory smoked bacon, served on a toasted English muffin or flaky biscuit. There's no wrong way to mix and match this tasty deal. 2 breakfast sandwiches, just $6. Perfect. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, single item at regular menu price. Modifications and tax extra. Exclusions and additional terms apply.
Going up. Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up.
Going up.
But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button.
Going down.
We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40, period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free Samsung 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
Buckeye games have been airing on WBNS since before you were born and before your parents were born and before Abraham Lincoln was born. Trust me, you're home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. Live, local, and still slightly drunk.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment.
This is Fan Sports Sunday.
It is golf season. I'm actually playing later today. I hope the weather's good. I'm playing at York Golf Club.
Yeah, that's nice.
Up in Worthington.
You must be friends of Tim Hall.
Yeah,
I've never been invited, so that I didn't make the cut.
Well, see what we can do to get you up there, Tim. But
I guess Baker and Scotty Vegas, that's where they left the call-in show, and they're going up there.
They're going to York?
Yeah.
Quick side note.
I'm going to see him up there then. How about what the heck? I missed that.
They'll have warm up, and you won't be afforded. They'll be eager to get the game going.
Yeah, you're right.
By the way, I
think I got him.
I almost ran over the guy that ran Central. What was it called? The Central Ohio or District Golf Association for many years. Nick Popa. I think he's passed away now, but covering the local tournament one year. He made the mistake. We became really good friends. He made the mistake of getting out of the cart to make a ruling, and I was riding with him. And all of a sudden, the cart started rolling, and I reached my left foot over to hit the brake.
Oh.
But I hit the gas or electric, whatever you call it. Whatever.
Accelerator.
Whatever, Elon Musk would call it. And boom, next thing you know, he is up on the hood, and he's got this look on his face like, what are you trying to do, kill me?
Oh, my.
But, York, that's a nice golf course.
Yeah, it's challenging, so got to see you out there sometime, right?
Like I said, I've been around it, but I haven't been invited to play it.
All right, we'll see what we can do about
Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah. Have you seen what's going on at the Charles Schwab Challenge this week?
Not really.
All right, so that's the golf tournament this week, of course, coming off the PGA Championship.
I just said that to keep the conversation going.
That's an old radio trick that Tim pulled right there. But behind the 18th green at the Charles Schwab Challenge this week at Colonial in Fort Worth, Texas, they've got craps, blackjack, live tables going on during a golf tournament. What do you think of that?
Do you remember when sports and gambling did not mix?
Yeah, what, 4 years ago?
Yeah, remember reading the thing on before you'd go into an NFL locker room about gambling and all this kind of that was on the door and everywhere else in the facility and stuff. It's crazy, but the whole idea of professional sports is to put fannies in seats or on the grounds or in front of television watching you, and so whatever attracts the folks is interesting. But to know what a Bible-thumping state Texas used to be, I grew up there, Alabama and then Texas, 2 Bible-thumping states, and to see what goes on now is like my dad, I'm sure, is rolling over in his urn.
I don't think we're going to be seeing any gambling next week at Jack's place.
No.
I'd put money on that.
Not overtly.
Yeah, on your mobile device.
I mean, if you got a cell phone in your pocket, you can gamble.
All right, so we've got the Memorial Tournament coming up this week at Muirfield Village, right here in the Columbus area. Scotty Scheffler is the defending champion. He shot 8 under last year. This is always a hard tournament. It's one of the signature events on the PGA Tour. A $20 million purse, which is pretty nice.
That's nuts.
Do we think Scotty Scheffler can repeat? It seems like Scotty's kind of finding his stride at the right time. It was a slow start to the PGA Tour season by his terms,
Yes,
by
standards.
By his standards, yeah, what he was able to do last season. But he gets going. He wins the PGA Championship. He's right back in contention this week at the Charles Schwab Challenge. He shot 6 under yesterday to get himself into the top 10. Right now, he's tied for 7th at 7 under par. He's actually teeing off in just a matter of minutes here. He might have already. But do we think he can do it again at Muirfield? It's a tough tournament to repeat at.
Yeah, but in my opinion, there's no better shot maker right now in golf than him. I'm talking about wherever he's standing on the fairway, he has a shot to get to the green.
Yeah.
I'm talking about even on the par 5s, usually, unless he's just hit it into the woods or the rough. But that's the great thing about him. He's underrated because he's understated, in my opinion. But if you just watch the shots he hits, forget about watching his feet, because that wouldn't tell you he can make any shot. But watch his shots he makes. Yeah, there's no course out there that intimidates him. I'm lucky because I'm going to be serving as a volunteer at the U.S. Open again for the 4th straight year this year at
cool.
at Oakmont, and I'm very much looking forward to walking with him again. He did have such a great time last year, but the bottom line is that's a shot maker's. You can either crack the egg or you can't, and that it'll be cool to watch him go around that place. But Jack's place is the same thing, man. You can get in all kinds of trouble. The great thing about him is he's usually cool. You know this. He's usually cool if he gets in trouble. Don't get too impatient.
Yeah.
Because if you drop it back out into the fairway, now you've got a shot that can get you on the green and have you let you save par, whatever. That's what stands out about him is last week he won. He didn't have his best stuff.
I don't think anything phases Scotty Scheffler after the arrest.
But he won a major.
Right?
He won a major without his best stuff.
Yeah.
You follow my drift?
I know what you're saying. He's just a shot maker. He
Yes.
is. He's
He's
can
never
grind,
out of it.
He can grind his way around a golf course. I do think, Rory McIlroy is not going to be playing in the Memorial, which I don't know how I feel about it. I don't necessarily like it because it's a signature event. You want the big names there,
Yes.
and I'd like to see those guys compete. In saying that, I understand with the U.S. Open coming up, and it looks like it's going to be extremely demanding.
But there's still a week between Memorial and U.S. Open.
Rory's played a lot of golf.
Yeah.
He won the Masters, but I bring him up because I think he can grind his way around a golf course similarly to Scotty Scheffler, which he kind of did in winning the Masters.
Yeah.
On Masters Sunday, he grinded himself right around par.
Well, he grounded Bryson DeChambeau right down into the...
Yes, he did. Yes, he did, which was cool. I was at the U.S. Open last year on Sunday and watched the exact opposite happen.
Dude, we were on the ground somewhere.
Yeah,
because
you were there
I
too?
followed DeChambeau all 18 holes.
Yeah, we picked him up. We watched, I think we picked him up around the back 9. So when we
Gotcha.
started watching Bryson DeChambeau,
Yeah.
which was, that tournament was great last year. It was awesome U.S. Open, but this one coming up, I'm excited. I'm hoping we get that Rory-Scotty duel that we haven't really seen yet.
Oh, yeah.
That unfortunately we won't see at the Memorial this week. With that said, it's still going to be some pretty darn good golf. Scotty always performs well at Muirfield, it feels like. Colin Morikawa is another guy that seems to always step up at Muirfield. He's got a couple of second-place finishes, including losing by a stroke to Scotty last year.
Right.
Both guys are going to be in the field this week. Patrick Cantlay is a 2-time winner of the Memorial Tournament, so there are some guys out there that they're looking to create a little bit of momentum for themselves going into the U.S. Open.
Yeah, and this is not wishing any ill will on anybody, but anybody can see that Jack Nicklaus has gotten up in age.
Yeah.
And my point is those handshakes coming off of 18 for the winner and the little talk, whatever they do, the lecture, those are cherished, man, by these guys because this is the GOAT. I mean, by any measure, Jack Nicklaus is the GOAT. And so it's always a special tournament. I got to help cover it way back in the late 70s, early 80s before I started covering the Indy 500, and they were on the same weekend way back then. And so I had to give up that one thing. But with Bob Baptist and other guys, I'd help cover the thing for the Columbus Dispatch. And it's always been a special place, even when it was growing itself, because great big-time players always showed up for it. because of Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah.
Now it's great because it's a signature event, $20 million purse, like you pointed out. Are you nuts? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's nuts. What Jack Nicklaus win in winnings his entire career, like $1.8 million? You know?
Yeah, it's definitely different nowadays.
18 majors and 1 point. I mean, but it's very special. The course is always prime.
Mm-hmm.
The rough is always rough.
Yes.
And so it makes it special in all kinds of ways. And you don't want to see those tournaments like Arnold Palmer's tournament lose their luster, for whatever reason, because they are just like, this weekend. A lot of people like to play that Charles Schwab Challenge because of where the tournament is and stuff. But, I'm very much looking forward to see who pulls it out against Jack. And I think this is perfect scheduling for that tournament.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Moving it up. Last week they played it a week later, so they've got it a week up this year for the Memorial Tournament. Hopefully the weather's good because this week the weather hasn't been great, so I'm hoping we're looking at sunny 70s. It makes it more fun for the fans to be out there. I think the players would have been a little bit miserable playing out at Muirfield this past week. It was more Scotland-style conditions than Dublin, Ohio. Dublin, Ireland over there, not Dublin, Ohio.
It's still amazing, though, even when the weather is, goes nuts, how these guys can still play.
It hardly affects them, right?
Yeah. And when it does, you definitely hear about it, like mud on Scotty's ball last week on Thursday, So, I mean, they like pristine, but if it's not pristine, they can still play.
Well, Muirfield Village is always pristine.
Yes.
It's going to be pristine next week, and we cannot wait. The Memorial Tournament coming up. Scotty Scheffler trying to repeat as champion. The college football playoff, Ohio State, of course, wants to repeat as champion this coming season, but it's going to look a little bit different. We'll tell you how next. It's Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
With rates lower than the national average, plus special rates on balance transfers, a BMI Federal Credit Union Visa Platinum or Visa with Rewards credit card would be the perfect card for your wallet. Visit bmifcu.org/visa for more details and to apply today.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-345-2789. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-345-2789. That's 800-345-2789. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-345-2789.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-324-VEIN. That's 614-324-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
When it's time to ask life's biggest question, make sure your ring says it all. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from The Diamond Seller, and we've been helping couples say yes for over 78 years. From brilliant cuts to better prices, the quality and selection of our diamonds is unmatched. Because diamonds aren't just our business, they're our legacy. Visit us at Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondcellar.com. Bigger diamonds, better prices, guaranteed.
The Fan is headed to the Memorial. Are you ready for 30 hours of live coverage? Oh, it's true, baby.
Sponsored by The Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. TheWaterworks.com.
The best Memorial coverage, The Fan.
We could tell you what makes Giant Eagle special, but we think our customers say it best.
I love the fresh produce. I love the fresh meat.
I'm pretty sure the fish guy knows me by now. We're buds.
I love to grill. That alone keeps me coming back.
The people that work here are so nice and so helpful.
Everybody loves the cakes from Giant Eagle.
On every shelf, in every department, we're always going for better because being your Giant Eagle matters.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
When you're a AAA member, we do the hard stuff for you. So picture this. You're taking a road trip through the mountains at night, and you run out of gas. Do you, A, call AAA, or B, walk 29 miles to the nearest gas station in the pouring rain?
A?
How about this? You need auto insurance. You could A, pick AAA to find the best coverage for you, or B, spend so much time researching insurance jargon that you might as well have gotten a law degree.
Yeah, I'm going with A.
Right. Okay, you're booking a vacation. You can A, have AAA plan it for you, or B, stress so hard about layovers and getting to your cruise that you need a vacation from booking your vacation.
That's easy. A, AAA.
On the plus side, get more with AAA. Go to AAA.com/plus side.
Nashville's hottest band, Old Dominion, is coming to Great American Ballpark on July 10th as part of the Ohio Lottery post-game concert series. After the Reds take on the Marlins, all fans in attendance are invited to stay and enjoy a set from Old Dominion. Plus, you can upgrade your ticket to a Pit Field Pass for an up-close view of the show. For tickets and more information, visit reds.com/concerts.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. During weekend programming, pants are optional.
Look at my butt!
However, leather chairs may have been a bad choice. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Dylan Tyre, Tim May, Dylan Gonzalez with you on a Memorial Day weekend. I do promise we all have our pants on right now. I can see Tim. I can see me. Dylan, actually, I can't vouch for back there.
I actually don't over here.
Okay.
He's behind the smoked glass over there.
Yeah, good thing we can't see that then. But we got to talk some college football now because there was big news Thursday. It dropped, and I know this is right in your wheelhouse, Tim, is that the college football playoffs is fixed. Is fixed. I think everybody last year with the 12-team playoff was upset by the automatic buys, right? The conference champions got automatic buys, and it gummed things up a little bit.
Cry me a river, baby. Cry me a river.
I am kind of with you because it worked out in some teams' favor, and there is a reseeding here, which we'll get into, but the gist of this is that this coming year, they're getting rid of the automatic buys for the conference champions. They're just going to do straight seeding.
Yes.
So the top 4 teams will get buys.
But one of the reasons is we all know there was an orogeny in college football over the last year and a half. That's meaning a movement of tectonic plates, which causes either valleys or mountains. And
geography lesson and
right. But I mean, with the SEC sitting at 16 teams and the Big Ten sitting at 18, the Big Ten absorbing most of the cream of the crop of the Pac-12, which is whatever it is now. It would be fun if they keep calling it the Pac-12. But anyway, I digressed on myself. It's not winning the Big Ten is a bigger deal than it was even the year before, right? Winning the SEC is a bigger deal than it was the year before, except you don't play everybody. You don't even come close to playing everybody. So you had to do something about this idea that 2 conferences that, quite frankly, don't play the same level of football got automatic qualifiers.
Yeah,
with their conference champion. I'm talking about the bye portion of the selection.
So you're talking Arizona State and Boise State, essentially.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking it. Boise State, Ashton Jeanty, one of the great stories in football. That's putting it mildly. But the bottom line is, you had to do something to address that aspect of it. But if it's because Alabama was crying that it didn't get in after Alabama got waxed a couple, 3 times last year, including by Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I have no tolerance for that argument. But when you have a conference that represents 16 teams and another conference that represents 18, which is the Big Ten, you have to give it up to the quality of football in both of those conferences right now, and you have to do something about it. I'm kind of changing my idea or my take on the automatic qualifiers now that the SEC and the Big Ten would be given 4 each. I think that's actually legit.
Mm-hmm.
And because they will have, 7 or 8, each conference will have 7 or 8 of the better teams in the nation. I think you agree, right?
Yeah, so where this is going, right, is I think the big change can come in 2026.
Right, that's what we're talking. That's what I was talking about just then.
They could potentially move to a 16-team playoff, and it sounds like the favored method of doing this that the SEC and the Big Ten are pushing for is that each of those conferences would get 4 automatic bids into the college football playoff, and then the other conferences, the Big 12, the ACC, would get 2. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
2 for those.
2 for those.
And then you would get the conference champion of
one of the highest rated conference champion of the other.
Of the group of 5, they're calling it.
Yeah, five conference champions would be guaranteed.
And then 3 at-large teams,
that's
essentially. So it's a little bit confusing. I did a lot of work reading about it.
Where the at-large teams are going to come from?
Yeah, the Big Ten and the SEC. But I think that's the best way to do things, right? Like, that makes sense to me in going to the automatic bids. And, of course, a lot of it comes down to revenue sharing, and that the Big Ten and the SEC feel like they should get the bulk of the revenue because their teams are essentially making up the college football playoff. And this allows them another revenue-making opportunity in that they've talked about maybe some conference tournaments now to determine these 4 teams that get in rather than just the conference championship.
Did you see the video of the earthquake last week or a week and a half ago where they had a closed circuit camera that showed at this set up on a garage on like a little farm or something that all of a sudden showed the earth actually move, split, and one part move about 1.5 feet or 2 feet, and it was crazy. Who's ever seen that before live? That's what's happened in college football. And the lesser conferences, lesser as in pull, strength, whatever you want to call it, like the MAC and other, they're already plotting. They're not plotting. They're plotting the move away from the Big Two. The Big Two are going to rule the roost. Everybody, they already do, and it's really going to be big time then. And so the move now is to amalgamate. The other 5 is what you want to call it more than anything else. And it's almost like a relegation is going on right as we speak, and people have to get a grip around it because, no offense, but people would rather see Ohio State play Alabama than Ohio State play Toledo. I mean, that's now in Ohio. That's not the case necessarily, but you gotta have to get a grasp on reality. So that's where we're headed, and probably in the right direction.
Yeah, and speaking of moving in the right direction, where do you think we are headed in terms of just the regional super conferences, right? Like, I think that's the ultimate, just have 4 regional super conferences with some sort of relegation potentially within those conferences where it's going to keep everything interesting. It's going to keep everything competitive, I think, for the most part. Give everybody a chance is what I mean there.
Yeah.
May not be competitive because some schools have more money than others. But what would you call regional?
Because the Big Ten goes from Rutgers to Southern California to Washington now. You know what I mean? The SEC goes from from South Carolina to Texas or Oklahoma, whichever one's more west.
If that were to happen, I would like to see a total conferencing realignment, where it gets regional. But clearly, they don't care about regions now. So why will they care about regions when they do?
No,
this?
but here's the thing: college sports has always been a regional sport.
Right.
I mean, I remember talking about that with a former Ohio State athletic director, and he put it. He was worried about this idea of having a playoff because he doesn't think as many people care about Alabama, for example, or Ohio State in Montana as you would think they would. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? As opposed to an NFL style of doing things. Well, of course, college is headed pell-mell toward the NFL style.
Yeah.
But he worried about the idea of the attractiveness and being able to come up with these continuing television contracts, et cetera, but mainly the interest of the people, because that's what finally does it. Is does anybody tune in and watch these things? Do people show up for the games? And but I've always liked the regional aspect of major college sports, but it's moving way away from that as we speak.
You know, it's
almost South versus the North right now when you look at it.
People don't like change inherently, but I don't think that there's anything wrong necessarily with like Ohio State USC becoming a thing, for example. I grew up in Southern California. I loved going to USC games growing up. They'd play Stanford, UCLA, and that's what you're talking about, the regionality of it. Of course, they have the rivalry, maybe not for long, with Notre Dame, but it would have been really cool if I were a kid growing up and the rivalry was USC Ohio State. If the Buckeyes were coming to the Coliseum, that would have been pretty cool.
But this was a great example of people grasping that idea. Ohio State played at USC in 2007 or 6, I can't remember the year, and the tickets for that game were $75, which was a lot back then. They were playing, I think USC was hosting Washington State the next week. And the tickets for those games were $45. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
I mean, we were already headed for this a long time ago. But you can't put Ohio State, Alabama on or Ohio State, Georgia on every week because nobody wants their great program to be going 6-6 every year.
Yep. I told you guys it's a quick show today. That's because we've got the Cubs and Reds coming up a little after 1 o'clock. So we're going to talk some baseball. We're about a third of the way through the MLB season. So we'll tell you whose stock we're buying and whose we're selling next. It's Fan Sports Sunday right here on The Fan.
There's nothing Bo Bishop can't do well, except find competent co-hosts. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
When you're starting a home improvement project, a few big questions always come up. Who can I trust? Will they be there if something goes wrong? And lastly, how much is this going to cost me? At Newman Roofing, we've been answering those questions for over 30 years. As a family-owned and operated company that takes pride in every aspect of the job, with family members involved in each department of the company, we treat your home like it's our own. That means clear communication, no shortcuts, and a white glove experience from start to finish. And when it comes to cost, we get it. That's why we offer flexible financing options so you can get the quality your home needs at a price that works for your budget. Don't just take our word for it. With over 700 5-star reviews on Google, families across Central Ohio are sharing their Newman Roofing experience. For roofing, siding, and gutter solutions built around family, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring into savings at Ohio Mulch. Get your mulch as easy as ever. Save $50 on home delivery now through Sunday. All you got to do is visit ohiomulch.com today.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center. Sports Talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Dylan Tyre, Tim May, Dylan Gonzalez with you. MLB coming up. We've got the Cubs and the Reds at 1:10. So we got to talk some baseball right now, and I think Dylan's got us he's got a special game for us here, Tim, to finish things up with.
Yeah, we're going to do a little buy or sell on MVP or on MVP talk because it seems like Aaron Judge is going to be the guy. But what I want you guys to buy or sell is because it seems like he's hitting .395 right now. Last year, he hit over 60 home runs. I want you to buy or sell whether you think Aaron Judge will hit 400 or hit 60 home runs this year.
All right,
go first.
Yeah, I'm selling on hitting over 400 for sure. I don't buy him hitting 400. Over 60 home runs, I buy that. I think his odds before the season to hit 60 home runs were like 4-1 or something like that, which is insane to repeat to hit 60 home runs again. But those aren't great odds to do it. But I will buy that Aaron Judge is hitting over 60 home runs this year. What's he at right now? Aaron Judge.
21, he's at 18 right now, and I think that would put him on pace for 56 or 57. So he would have to pick up the pace a little bit, which is a crazy thing to say because he's leading the MLB in home runs right now, or he's tied with Ohtani, I believe.
He's not walking as much this year, it looks like. 32 walks through 50 games this season.
When does that end? When does he start getting the Bonds treatment?
Oh, man, I'm surprised it hasn't happened already, to be completely honest with you. Like, we're looking at a guy right here that, you know, I love looking at Barry Bonds' stats. He was my favorite player when I was a kid. The guy pretty much had an OPS over 1,000 every single season. We're at the point right now that 4 consecutive seasons, Aaron Judge has an OPS over 1,000. The seasons he didn't, it's right around 900. And then, of course, when he won Rookie of the Year, he hit 52 home runs and had an OPS over 1,000. So the guy, I mean, it's crazy, I think, to talk about them being the same caliber player. Barry Bonds, of course, had stolen base capabilities as well, whereas Aaron Judge, I mean, he swipes bags, but not nearly like Barry Bonds did.
No, but he's a menace at the plate.
But man, oh man, I think I do think we need to start considering him being in this conversation. Now, Barry Bonds has the longevity. He did it for longer. Aaron Judge was an older rookie in Major League Baseball. Like, that's the thing I think that surprises people about Aaron Judge, right? You think Aaron Judge, you're like, okay, this guy's been around for, 8, 9, 10 years now. He's going to be 28 years old. Aaron Judge is 33 this season, which he's getting up there. I don't know how much longer he has in Major League Baseball, but I will say it doesn't really look like he's slowing down. I'm buying when it comes to hitting 60 this year.
I'm buying when it comes to hitting 60 too, because he can go on a tremendous tear, and I think yesterday even proved some of that. You know, so I'm buying Aaron Judge hitting more than 60 home runs. The over 400. No, who would buy that? Would you buy that?
Yeah, Tony Gwynn's not around anymore.
No,
so
no, Ted Williams.
Yeah, I was gonna say if Tony Gwynn would be the only guy that I'm like, okay, maybe there's a shot.
Aaron Judge is never going to reduce himself to a slap hitter.
Yeah,
just for average. So yeah.
Speaking of Ted Williams, by the way, I love just searching Baseball Reference and looking at guys' random stats. I brought up the 1,000 OPS for Aaron Judge. Ted Williams, he fought in World War II, remember? So he left Major League Baseball.
And Korea.
He had one season in his entire MLB career that he had an OPS under 1,000.
Wow,
one.
that's insane.
And he played until he was like 40 plus.
That's like video game type numbers.
And absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
All right, let's go in-state. The Guardians are up in Detroit, and they're losing. They're 3 games back in the division. Detroit is probably the surprise of the MLB season. They're 33-20, and I believe they have the best record in baseball. No, they have the best record in the MLB. The Phillies have the best record in baseball. But are you buying or selling the Guardians catching up to A.J. Hinch's Detroit Tigers?
So the Tigers have the best record in the American League.
Yes.
So I'm glad you brought this up. I think I'm selling big on the Guardians this year. I'm not buying the Guardians this year because I feel like whatever they've got going on up there, it's got to run out at some point. I think they can get it back, but I don't think they can be this group every year that they don't have the superstars. They kind of get by with the pitching. Last year, their bullpen was so good during the regular season, and I think that's what got it done for them, right? Jose Ramirez is a superstar through and through. I love Jose Ramirez. I think they have some nice younger pieces on that roster as well. Unless they make some moves this summer going into the trade deadline, at that point in the season, if they don't make some additions, I think I'm selling on the Guardians this year. I don't think they have it. Plus, Emmanuel Clase, the guy that is supposed to win them games late, hasn't been that great this season.
My middle kid, Corey, has been a Guardians, and previous to that, their name, fan for his entire life, along with the Browns and the Cavaliers. I don't know where that gene came from. But the bottom line is, on his behalf, I'm buying the Guardians.
Ooh.
On Tyvis Powell's behalf, I'm buying the Guardians. Because, as long as your pitching holds up, man, it can take you a long way. Just like we were talking about Bobrovsky in goal for Florida. Man, as long as he holds up, they can get it done. And so I'm liking the Guardians. I'm not sure who you trade for. You know what I mean? That you're gonna. I mean, I can see some dream trades, but I don't know who you trade for that's really going to help you in your time of need, because most people don't want to help the team that's at or near the top.
I just think that we saw what happened with them last year, right? Like, I think they need somebody to help them get over that hump. Like last year, they made some of those minor moves. Lane Thomas, they got a couple of pitchers last year at the deadline as well. Alex Cobb was one of the guys they got at the deadline, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. They made minor moves that couldn't get them over that hump.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I think the Tigers they've got that young, exciting roster. Javi Baez has had a career resurgence this year. I think it's going to be tough for the Guardians. Like, it'll be compelling, I think, down the stretch, but I don't think it's the Guardians.
Yeah, but I think it could run out for the Tigers too, for example. You know what I mean?
So baseball's kind of fickle in that way, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to watch.
All right, last one. As the Reds are coming up here on the Fan, they were able to beat the Cubs 6-4 yesterday, and they're playing them again today here in a few minutes. They're 5.5 games back, but they do have a game with the Cubs today, who lead the NL Central. Are you buying or selling the Cincinnati Reds?
I am buying the Cincinnati Reds because they've started slow, right? They've had some guys with slow starts to their season. I think you got to get going at some point. Hunter Green has missed some time as well, and they've managed to stay in the conversation, at least, with Hunter Green out. I mean, frankly, if you would have brought up Hunter Green buying or selling as a Cy Young guy prior to that injury, I think he's right there as maybe the Cy Young winner in the National League this season, at least for the first third of the year, but he ended up getting hurt.
Prior to what?
He was injured.
No, that's what I'm throwing in there.
Oh, yes, of course. But, I mean, I'm buying the Reds. I think Terry Francona will get it figured out for them, and they're going to start trending in the right direction. Also, Pete Crow Armstrong for the Cubs, buying that guy. That's my new favorite player in baseball.
Great name.
I'm just going to – I think you kind of are who you are at this point in the season.
Okay.
And I think 500 is what the Reds are, in my opinion. They've been – for want of another term, playing too streaky, I guess is the term I would use for it and stuff. And I don't think that necessarily is going to get fixed. But we all know in baseball, an error here and a stolen run there, and next thing you know, you've won 8 in a row, and you're definitely the darling. So, but I'm not. I would not buy the Reds right now. I'm not sure they're on solid ground.
The price is low for the Reds right now.
True,
That's why I'm buying. I think those stonks will be soaring by the end of the year for the Cincinnati Reds. And hey, if you got a guy as electric as Ellie De La Cruz, I'm never going to count that.
Well, yeah,
team out.
I'm not saying they're not entertaining.
Yeah, no. I understand what you're saying here, but you like the Guardians over the Reds this year. You're buying the Guards, selling the Reds.
Yeah, no matter what the in-state series how it stands, one way or the other, I'm buying the Guardians over the Reds.
All right, guys, this was a ton of fun. Tim, thanks for being with me for the first time in this quick hour. Dylan, thanks for setting us up for the MLB segment there as well. We've got the Cubs